Hello, hello. There we go. Sorry, that's my test. GZTV back with another video, and in this video we are going to be talking about the 6th episode of Season 2, Bali High of Better Call Saul. You know, we've been watching this pretty consistently here in college. I'll try to get as many videos out as I can. This weekend we're probably not going to have any reviews. Next week we'll probably have 2 reviews. Yeet and Nab are dropping some projects, so we will probably review those. But for this week you'll just have a weekly track rundown. I think Pierre Bourne's dropping an album. Yeet's dropping a single this Friday, so that'll be exciting. But anyways, we're not talking about that. I just wanted to give a channel update because I've gotten a couple new subscribers and I appreciate you guys. We're sitting at 107 strong, so it's dope. Anyways, we're going to get through the plot and the critical reception. Jimmy McGill finds it difficult adjusting to his new job at D&M and is unable to sleep in his apartment. So he turns on the television and finds that Davis and Maine have begun airing a plain advertisement seeking plaintiffs for the Sandpiper lawsuit, which makes him even more anxious. It's like, you didn't want me to post an advertisement, and now I brought the idea up of the advertisement, and now you're out here posting your own. So they're pretty much stealing his idea, his proposition that they should be posting one in the first place, and that was kind of his idea, and he's probably anxious and a little bit mad about it. So the consequences of some of his actions, some things that are happening in his life, his wrongdoings are starting to kind of fall down on him. And we'll see how long he stays with Davis and Maine. Obviously, we know in Breaking Bad. By the way, I'll probably take a break in between watching the last few episodes in the series, because once Breaking Bad gets involved, I'm probably going to rewatch Breaking Bad. So it's kind of like a part of the story. You know, I already know everything that happens. I just want to relive it. I think it'd be great. But yeah. Since we have 2 of these at the same time, at the time of me like starting to watch both, I could probably have just done that, but it would have, I don't know. I just wanted to watch Breaking Bad because it was the critically acclaimed show. They created Better Call Saul. He returns to his old boiler room office where he has no trouble falling asleep, going to his humble beginnings. He's used to this place, so he's like kind of chilling out and cooling down there, and he finds that's his like calm place. That's his safe haven. Like, that's a place that he can go when he's feeling any type of way about his job, The next morning, Jimmy leaves Kim Wexler a voicemail in which he happily sings Bali High from South Pacific, which is why the episode's called Bali High, because he sings a song to Kim Wexler. They kind of have this relationship going on. With Chuck McGill's help, Kim is transferred out of HHM's document review room, but is treated coldly by Howard Hamlin, who gives her humiliating and menial assignments, including arguing unwinnable motions in court. You do kind of have to argue anything if you're you can withdraw yourself from the case if you're a law firm, but you kind of have to represent people in some way there if they're gonna hire you for their law activities. And you almost have to do a case like this when it's unwinnable, and she gets put in that situation. That's kind of where the rookies, that's kind of where the lower downs go. And that's what happened to Kim Wexler. Obviously, she was put in an unwinnable situation. Anything's possible, but sometimes in law, there's just situations where the verdict is determined before you even walk into the courtroom. So shout out to Chuck. He turned down, Jimmy, his brother Jimmy, all these years, and now he's finally starting to make a change and start to help people around Jimmy and make it seem like he's not that bad of a person, because I'm sure he knows that Kim Wexler's picked up on the fact that Chuck is really not that nice of a guy to Jimmy, but he kind of fixes it there. Howard Hamlin frowns upon her. I think this ties into kind of the gender roles of the TV show. The girls don't have big roles in Breaking Bad, neither do they in this show, so it doesn't change. So, yeah. Kim is approached by Rick Schweikart of Schweikart and Coakley, who tells her that he was impressed with her performance while arguing a motion she was sure to lose. He liked her confidence. He feels like that would be nice for the firm, so he's kind of trying to, tampering, getting her to come over to the other side, I suppose. Kind of like what LeBron does for the Lakers. So she wants her to over at Schweikart. Now, Schweikart's a pretty big deal. They have a whole chain of retirement homes on their side. 12 locations, I think they said, and there's a place in Colorado, Colorado Springs, and it's a big law firm, so she would have an opportunity. She would be guaranteed pretty much an attorney job that she wasn't really given at HHM until 6 years down the line, and she's still put in document review. So yeah, she definitely considers it. He offers her a position at S&C that will include better pay and benefits and the promise of meaningful work. She will do stuff that matters. Schweikart kind of details how he used to do used to be put on unwinnable cases in his firm. That's what they do to all the rookies, all the young people. Unsure of what to do, Kim relieves her stress by running another con with Jimmy. They fool an investor into giving them $10,000, though the next morning Kim tells Jimmy they will not cash the check but keep it as a souvenir for their con. She feels like it has sentimental value of her and Jimmy bonding. I mean, they both work at a law firm. This is definitely not right of them to do, but it's just something they bond over. As weird as it sounds, it's true. She confides her doubts about whether to move to S&C and expresses jealousy that Jimmy always seems to know what he wants. He's very executive. He enforces things. Like, if he wants something, he's gonna get it, like, by any means, and she likes that about him. She admires that about him. Though he is increasingly frustrated at D&M, Jimmy lies to Kim about how working at D&M is everything he has always wanted. Maybe even, like, trying to advertise her to come over there and work with them and then be co-workers. That'd be great for their relationship, obviously. Moving on to Mike Ehrmantraut's situation, because obviously it's the second biggest storyline here. We're talking about Mike dealing with the Salamancas. More of the Salamancas are getting slowly, gradually introduced in this series. The guys from Breaking Bad, and it's fucking awesome. I love it. Mike Ehrmantraut refuses Hector Salamanca's offer of $5,000 to say the gun found when Tuco Salamanca assaulted him as Mike's. So Hector has his henchmen, including Lionel and Marco Salamanca, the cousins, wage a harassment campaign. So the cousins that die in Breaking Bad, of course. Should I spoil that? I mean, let's treat it like you guys watched Breaking Bad when it came out and you watched Better Call Saul when it came out. I sure as hell watched Breaking Bad before Better Call Saul. I feel like that's the normal thing to do, but maybe I'm wrong. But the cousins, a pretty dangerous duo going after Hank when at first they were going after Walter. The cousins from Breaking Bad have been introduced, and it's awesome. I'm sure we're going to get the other parts of the family, Don Eladio, and next comes Gustavo Fring. I feel like meeting the twins and meeting the rest of the Salamancas is a kind of a indicator that Gustavo's at least going to be coming at season 3, I would say, if I had to guess. Stacy and Kaylee Ehrmantraut receive implied and implicit threats, so Mike agrees to take responsibility for the gun, but only if he is paid $50,000. Mike Ehrmantraut, he's going to get what he wants. He's just like Saul in a way, Jimmy in this case. Hector agrees, and Mike later gives $25,000 to Nacho Varga to reimburse him for the money Nacho paid Mike to get Tuco arrested. So he's like, hey, here's your little check. We're both against Tuco. We're both in the same boat. Yeah, Mike argues that he owes Nacho since Tuco's reduced sentence means Mike did not live up to the terms of their agreement. That is very, very true, and something that I didn't think about when I first watched this episode. Here's the reception. Not a lot to say about it. Positive reviews. It's got a 100% positive rating, 8.38 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes. Bali High, with a calm before the storm approach, subtly shows nuanced character performances work while brilliantly eliminating trusted tropes and providing a desired focus on Kim and Mike. Not a lot of shows are good at focusing on the side characters, and I think Better Call Saul does a great job at that, especially because Mike is such a cool, badass, admirable character. We learn about his background. He's like a formal cop that had some falling out, and yeah, it's just great to hear his story in Better Call Saul and get a better look at who he is as a person. 8.3 out of 10 on IGN. The cousins are back as Hector Salamanca makes things personal for Mike. Jonathan Banks was not was nominated for an Emmy for this episode. So that's just how good the critics said his performance was. But it's a good episode. It's one of the more important episodes of the series, I feel like, just because of the character introductions we get. I mean, it's awesome to see the Salamawancas come into the show and really have a big play on Mike. And like, at first I didn't even think the Salamancas had a problem with Mike, but now that I know this, I look at Breaking Bad differently, and that's kind of the beauty of watching the show. Is like, if I go rewatch Breaking Bad, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, Better Call Saul explains this. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, it has been GZTV reviewing the best TV shows out there. Tomorrow you're going to get Walking Dead, and Friday you're going to get Better Call Saul, and then Saturday you're going to get both, and maybe even a movie. I'm thinking about Saturday for Cinema